Hello, Rama Pupodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with Lokamal. One day, when he came into the kitchen, he noticed that the sambar was boiling, and he asked Logamal, "Is it still on the fire?" To which Logamal replied, "Yes, it has to boil further." Bhagavan replied, "Only Logamal appreciates me and listens to me. She makes sure that the sambar is completely boiled. Everyone else, in their haste to complete the cooking, prepares food that is half cooked." Women in those days were ostracized every month for the first 3 days of their menstrual cycle. They were kept out of sight for these 3 days. Only plain food was served to them. They were not allowed to eat with the rest of the family and were not given the same food either. In one sense of the term, they remained untouchables during those 3 days. One morning, when Bhagavan entered the kitchen to see whether his instructions were being followed, he found Tenamal preparing a lentil dish. He commented, "This was not discussed in the morning. What is Tenamal making?" Tenamal was forced to reply, "One of us has the menstrual cycle. She has been confined to a different place and needs to be served separate food." Bhagwan became very upset and angry. Why should she eat separately? Why can't she eat the food that is being served to others? What does it matter if she is not well? Do not differentiate. Serve her the food that has been prepared for all. Let her have the rice, dal, and curry from the common kitchen. In spite of Bhagavan's instructions, there was resistance from a lot of people in the office and in the ashram. They were not prepared to accept these new rules. This made Bhagavan flare up occasionally. He would say, "The ashrams gives food to all. There are no untouchables here. Those who do not like it this way may eat elsewhere." There was the same kind of hassle at Kanda Ashramam with my mother. Here the problem is menstruation, while there it was the problem of untouchables. She would refuse to give food to the man who brought us our firewood because she was afraid that he would pollute us. She would insist that I eat first, then she would eat, and finally she would give the leftovers to him. Even this he would have to eat on the grounds outside the ashram. However, I would be adamant and insist that the man be fed honorably. At first, she refused to eat and would instead weep constantly, but seeing how resolute I was in the matter, she too came to understand that it could not be any other way. What is the difference between one man and another? Is it not correct to see only God in all? Lokamal said, "Bhagavan elevated each one of us from our state of lowly ignorance. The state he elevated us is to that of supreme equality and oneness. Like all the other cooks, Lokamal too matured because of the instructions and directions of Bhagavan. Today we eat idlis for breakfast at the ashram because of Logamal. As I have stated earlier, previously there was either rice gruel or coffee. At the time of Logamal, the village Pattakuruchi had fertile soil that produced the right kind of grains to be made into parboiled rice. This is the kind of rice that is needed to make idlis. Logamal's brother sent this rice to the ashram. On one occasion, Bhagavan ground the rice himself and made idlis from the rice. They turned out very tasty. Bhagavan appreciated the rice by saying, "How good this parboiled rice is." Lokamal at once wrote to her brother and relatives, "You need not do anything for me, but please continue sending parboiled rice," because of the comment Bhagavan made. From that day onwards, idlis became the staple breakfast in the ashram. In her final days, Lokamal stayed in a cottage in the Ramana Nagar. I attended on her as I did on other devotees. Lokamal was a ripe individual, but her parabdha was that she remained an irritable person till the end. She once said to me, "You must send a maid to attend on me." She was so difficult to please that I had to change her maids 18 times. Each one of them pleaded to me with folded hands, "Please do not ask us to serve Lokamal." When I went to see her the next morning, Lokamal scolded me. I was alone. I was afraid. "You did not send a maid." I was afraid of her abusive language and ran away. Even for that one night, I couldn't get any maid for her. The next day, I entered the cottage with great trepidation, but I found her face all aglow. She asked, "Is it Ganesa?" I replied, "Yes, Amma." I thought she was going to scold me because I had not sent another maid. She said instead, "Come here, my child, come." She held my face tight, kissed my forehead, and said, "Because of you, I had the darshan of Bhagavan. Last night I scolded you, but look at Bhagavan. Here is the picture that Bhagavan gave me when I once told him that young men are troubling me. He at once got up from his sofa and gave me this picture. He gave it to me saying, 'From today onwards, you will not face this problem. Just look at me, Ganesa. I am 90 years old. After that day, I have never had any problems from any man. Last night, as I was scolding you, I heard Bhagavan say, Lokamal, Lokamal,' and let's continue in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupodu.